Recently, a new fishing game popped onto the scene in Roblox, and it's insanely popular. So I decided to hook myself a challenge and see if we can remake this game with a 1-hour time limit. Today we'll have myself, Mr. Role Builder, building the game, and my friend Panda scripting it. So let's jump into Fisch and see what's needed for a minimum viable product. It looks like we need a fishing rod, a dock, a fish, and some sort of bait shop and sell place. Now, knowing that we only need 4 things, this build seems very, very easy. So I guess it's a game of how good we can make everything look within this given hour. Before opening up Blender, I hopped into our Team Create on Studio and built everything that we need out of parts. Very rough, super blockout, but this way, the scripter can start scripting before we have all of the good stuff. And then towards the end of the challenge, he just has to replace what the models are. And just like that, 2 minutes of our challenge is gone. While Panda's scripting, I'm gonna jump into Blender and start coolifying this stuff. First things first, I modeled a very simple fishing pole. I used a cylinder here, and then all I had to do was extrude it and add some bevels. Then I added in another cylinder for the real part of the fishing rod. Same thing, guys, extrude, bevels, insets, very basic stuff. And lastly, I added some toruses for where the string goes up the fishing rod. However, looking at it here, there's only gonna be 2 or 3 different colors on it, and I feel like I need at least 1 more so this model is a bit more interesting and so I can practice texturing on a few more things. So I added a handle wrap to the base of the fishing pole. I'll probably make this some sort of a red fabric in Substance Painter. After I was satisfied with how the fishing pole looked, it was time to unwrap this thing, and man, I have so much to learn when it comes to unwrapping. I do get the very basic principles of it, but I'm just not fully there yet. Anyway, since this is a timed challenge, something is better than nothing, but things are about to get a lot harder. I've been building and modeling for about 3 years, and I've posted my entire journey to this YouTube channel. However, pretty much every video, I consistently get one, I don't know if I could call it a piece of hate, but one comment that I get on a pretty consistent basis from more than one person, and that comment is, "You never got better." Now, I could definitely argue that if we look back 3 years ago and look at like this terrain border piece, for example, that I made a tutorial on. Yikes, the thumbnail alone, yikes. And then if we look at some of my more recent terrain pieces, hey, not as yikes. So I would halfway agree with this comment. I did get better, but I did hit a plateau. And I think that plateau is all about texturing. So today, I'm gonna try to texture all the models for this game in Substance Painter, not only for practice, but also just to sort of move up in the building game on Roblox, you know? Try to level up my skills a little bit. I guess that means 2 things. All of these models are gonna look absolutely amazing or absolutely horrible. I guess only time will tell. In Substance Painter, I hopped in, I baked the mesh maps, and then I made a folder group for each color or texture that I'm gonna put on this fishing rod. We're gonna have one for the fabric, one for the wood piece, the metal, the string. Everything is gonna get its own group. This is just to help me stay organized, and it helps me just wrap my head around this program. With the fishing pole done, we need to repeat this process for every other model in Blender and in Substance Painter. We need to make a fish, maybe a plank of wood, and definitely some sort of shop to sell your fish at. I am happy with how this fishing rod turned out, but it took 25 minutes of the challenge, which, yeah, I guess we don't have much more time to waste. I'm sure later when I get more confident with this program, this job would have been about 5 minutes. Anyways, now that the fishing pole is done, we need something to catch. For the fish, I traced an image I got off of Google with a cylinder, and then I used a subdivision surface modifier to make it look a little bit better. But tabbing into edit mode was quite horrendous. This topology is a big yikes, and it has 10,000 triangles for such a simple mesh. So I used a plugin called Quad Remesher, and boom, now we have nice topology, lower poly counts, and the fish still looks like the fish. Now into Substance Painter, rinse and repeat. I baked the mesh maps and added an orange fill layer to this fish. Since it's only 1 asset and we didn't make like 3D eyes or anything like that, we're gonna try to hand paint every detail onto this fish. Disclaimer, I've never painted anything in my whole life, so it's probably gonna look pretty bad. And bad it does look. Wow, that's It's a little rough, but given our hour time limit here, we don't have much time to learn or fix it. As a standalone model, this thing is horrendous, but luckily it's going to be under the water, and we're not going to have to look at it for too long. Now I needed to make the bait shop and sell area. I think this will be the most time-consuming thing, but I only have 20 minutes left of this challenge. So hopefully I can spend 10 modeling it and 10 texturing it, because this thing's got to get done quick. Now going into making this building, I didn't want it to just be a square or a rectangle that we see every single day on Roblox. So I started with a rectangle and then just scaled, extrude, scale, extrude over and over again until I got a shape I liked. Then I added some basic windows with a little planter and a bush out front of them, just for more color variation later on. Now into Substance Painter for the last time. Rinse and repeat, guys. Start with a group for each color we want, and realize that we did a horrible job unwrapping this thing. I do know the basics of unwrapping a cylinder, but when it comes to one that has bevels down the side of it like this, could you guys give me any advice? Just for future projects, I'm sure I'll run into something like this again. How would you unwrap it with bevels? Do you just follow one side of the bevel? Let me know in the comments below, and let's get back to it. As much as I would love to take my time texturing this building and getting like actual textures on it, not just colors, we don't have the time to do so. We have about 6 minutes left, so I'm just gonna rush everything into studio. After finishing this building, I realized I never made a dock, and I only have 3 minutes left of this challenge, but we're in studio and I don't have much time, so we need to build a small scene. I did grab a UI element and a bush out of my asset place, which is cheating a little bit, but in my defense, this is gonna be awesome, hopefully. And since I didn't make a dock, I just made one of those out of parts and slapped a texture on them. It's gonna have to do for now. I must admit, I got this scene done, but we are 2 minutes past our hour mark. And I also haven't talked to the scripter once, so let's jump into the game and see if we made Fisch in 1 hour and 2 minutes. All right, fellas, it is time. We have this beautiful scene. This is the next front page game right here, guys, all right? It's small, but good things come in small packages, all right? Let's click play, and let's see how we're doing, all right? We have a fishing rod as the tool. Perfect, we equip that, nice. It looks like he added a little bobber to the end of it. I like that feature. We can click to cast it into the water, and then this fish bar pops up. I didn't catch anything because I'm tragic. Let's try again. Cast into the water, the fish line pops up. You have to keep the fish in this white box. Then the line fills up and we have a fish. Yikes. We have a fish in our inventory. Now we can take this fish over to the sell spot and boom, we got some money, guys. So did we successfully remake Fisch? I'm moonwalking. Did we remake it in 1 hour and 2 minutes? Base gameplay, yes. You can cast your reel, catch a fish, and sell that fish for money. I had a great time on this challenge, and if you guys have any other popular games you would like to see us remake in 1 hour, leave them in the comments below. We'll try to do the one with the most likes. But that will wrap it up for today. If you did enjoy and want to see more content like this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day. Later.